Welcome to the Pond Boss YouTube channel. So glad you stopped by. Hey, be sure and click like and share this so everybody can learn about it. This video is all about bathymetry maps. If you've got a pond or a lake, I'd sure think about what you could do to have a bathymetry map to help you make smart decisions. So take a look.
Hey, Bob Luss, the Pond Boss. Feeling like a weatherman today. Clear to partly cloudy on this map. But you know what? Let's talk about bathymetry maps. It could be a very useful tool for you when it comes to managing your lake. In this circumstance, this lake covers 104 acres, and this landowner, when he bought the property, he didn't know what he wanted to do with the lake. So he wants to make it a great fishing lake, and that's part of the reason he bought the property. So the plan was, what do we do? So I said, well, why don't we map the lake first? Because when we're talking about managing a lake, we're talking about happy water, habitat, food chain, genetics, and a harvest plan. That's the nucleus of how we manage a lake. So if we start trying to throw money at habitat, how do we know what to do? Plus a bathymetry map can serve a lot of purposes. Take a look at this one. So these are contour lines for every 2 feet of depth in this lake, and that's how most bathymetry maps are. Well, in this particular lake, the maximum depth is about 19 feet, 18 feet. This is an 18-foot contour. This is a 16-foot contour. This is the dam. And this can be overlaid on Google Earth so you can actually see what the surroundings are around you. We decided to blow this one up so we could put it on the wall and show it to family and friends and study it. But what you can see, like right through here, this area is really flat. This area is pretty flat. This area is real shallow. And so by getting a bathymetry map, we could go in there and figure that out and begin to help with a habitat plan. Well, as we did this with a side scan sonar unit. And not only were we looking at the depths and trying to mark where they were located in the lake so we could build these contour lines, what we wanted to know is what kind of habitat's in the lake. Well, this is an old flood control lake, and most of those lakes have zero habitat. This one was a little bit above zero, but not much. So then, when we're using the map, what in the world, if we start putting habitat in there, it's going to be random. So do we go cut a bunch of cedar trees? Do we buy some mossback fish habitats? Go buy a bunch of rock? What do we do? How do we do that? Do we go start scooping stuff off of the ranch and move it around? So building this bathymetry map helps to give us a good starting point. We knew from electrofishing that this area over here was a hot spot for bass, which makes good sense because there's a pretty sharp drop off right here. So we thought, we can enhance some of that habitat area with adding some structure, which is what we did. Another reason to have a bathymetry map is so you can calculate the volume of water you've got. Like in a smaller pond, a 5 or 6 acre lake, for example, if you've got weed problems and you want to do something about it, you got to know how much water you've got by averaging the depth and where the area is where you've got the aquatic plants. So like, for example, this lake was mapped in December of 2024, adjusted to 18 feet deep because the lake was a foot low at that point. And we can see that it's, let's see, here we go right here. We did a little research on the lake, found out it was impounded in 1974, 1,227 acre feet, 10,169 acre feet of capacity, which when this lake is at full flood level, because it's a flood control lake, we know that, and the watershed's 13,248 acres. So with that math, we can do some really interesting things to help get to the point where we can manage that lake. So if you have a lake and you don't have a bathymetry map, you need to consider getting one. The cost ranges based on the size of the lake and how much time it takes to get all the data points. This lake has over 200,000 data points. Using that unit, it was pinging every second. It would get the depth and a GPS waypoint, and then going back and converting the data into a map was how this happened. This map cost $3,500, but it's going to save this landowner thousands of dollars in things that he doesn't do wrong, by having some good intel, some good information on what the bottom of his lake looks like. So a bathymetry map can range in price from $1,500 up based on the size of the lake and the contours and how much effort it takes to build the map. So if you don't have a bathymetry map, could be a good idea to get one, at least explore it. So now you know a little bit more about contours and bathymetry mapping.
Hey, thanks for stopping by the Pond Boss YouTube channel. Be sure and share it, click like, and oh, by the way, Pond Boss magazine, $35 a year, cheaper than a Friday night date, and it lasts a year. Hope you enjoyed this intel, and we got more on the horizon.
Hey, Mr. Pond Boss, tell me what to do to make all my Lunker Lake dreams come true.